Going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Ricardo coming back at you with another video. And yes, guys, the Atlanta Falcons have done it again. We've been talking about this since Monday, since we had those injuries, when we felt like it was going a different direction for Atlanta Falcons. Since that time, in the last 120 hours, the Atlanta Falcons have really reshaped this defense and bringing in Matthew Judon yesterday via trade for a third-round pick in 2025, and today going out and signing Justin Simmons, the number one safety that was still out there on free agency, for about $7.5 million, up to $8 million with incentives. So we're going to get into this today. We're going to talk about how this affects their defense as a whole and where this actually put our Atlanta Falcons in the NFC as well, to be contenders to go to the Super Bowl. So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so you know I drop another video. Please click the like button so I know you guys out here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in here and talk about. That's right, these Atlanta Falcons. So, guys, yes, it's an impromptu video, live today. I had to come in once the noise hit. We've been waiting all day, pretty much. Gonna give it out, give a heads up to Sue Cravens because he's the first one that came out. Most people trying to wait for Ian Rappaport, and those guys to come out, just like doing basketball season, waiting on the Rose Bomb and stuff. But Sue Cravens was the first one to come out. He probably got inside. He probably know Justin Simmons, so he had an inside tip, and if he's going out there now, he wanted his credit for it. So I'm going to give it to him because yes, he was the first one to put it out there that Justin Simmons was finalizing the deal with our Atlanta Falcons, guys. But we've been talking about this ever since they had the 2-day visit. Reported that AJ Terrell, Raheem Morris, J.C. Bates, Grady Jarrett, all that had dinner with Justin Simmons to pretty much seal the deal. Hey, that's the thing, wine and dine in hot Atlanta, and the best thing about this signing of Justin Simmons, besides he's a 4-time Pro Bowler, the fact that he visited the Aints first, and then he came to the Falcons, and he signed with Atlanta Falcons over the New Orleans Aints. So that's just a bonus in itself. Just the fact that we actually took a 4-time Pro Bowler away from one of our most hated rivalries in the New Orleans Aints. So I love that. And guys, it's just a great thing. What's going on, Brian Peoples? So I mean, this is one of the biggest signings the Atlanta Falcons had in a while from a free agent standpoint. Aside from bringing in Jessie Bates last year, going out and getting Kirk Cousins, and let's just talk about that for a minute. The fact that Kirk Cousins is here, and still to the day, probably, from a free agent standpoint, probably the biggest offseason signing in 2024 is going out because a quarterback goes, a guy who, yes, coming off Achilles, question mark was there, but so far so good. I think, his potential, coming in and his third, being in the league so long and having these weapons on the offense, I think it's just so tempting to guys want to come play for this team and how they can contribute. And like I said, we seen what Matthew Judon, trade yesterday. Now you're looking at a guy like Justin Simmons coming in, added to this defense, man. I just think the sky's the limits for this. So let's get into, Justin Simmons, the player, and who he's really is. Now, last year alone, right? He played. He's came in the same year as Matthew Judon, actually. So he's going into his ninth season in the league because he came in 2016. But you look at it, Justin Simmons. Last year he had 53 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions, and 8 pass defense. That's just as a safety, guys. Just think about what I just said. 53 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions, and 8 pass defense. That's what we're adding to this Atlanta Falcon defense. And you look at what Jessie Bates did last year, 89 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 6 interceptions, and 11 pass defense. So that's what we have right now in the backfield for our two safeties. Guys that's ball hawks. They physical. They both like to make tackles. They have all the traits with the IQ as well. So pairing these guys up, in my estimation, is like a dream come true. And they interchangeable because they can both play that deep deep safety, and they also can come up in the box as well. Both of these guys are physical safeties. Both of them can do things like this. I mean, if you look at what Justin Simmons had did over his eight-year career, 603 tackles, 64 pass defense, 4.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 30 ints. That's what he have done over his career, guys. 30 interceptions. So we're bringing a straight up ball hawk to the team. You gotta love that out right out the box, right? You bring the ball hawk with another ball hawk that's already there. Just Jesse Bates, only been in the league, 6 years, but 610 tackles, 20 ints, 6 forced fumbles, and he had 54 pass defense. So 2 ball hawks back there. And like I said, guys, interchangeable those guys, interchangeable. Now, when that quarterback look back there, you're looking off safety. Which safety you looking off? Because both of those guys have an IQ, to dissect plays, read plays, and make stuff happen. And both of them are ball hawks. So this right here is tremendous. Bringing this guy in, and man, it's almost like it's unreal the fact that Atlanta Falcons was able to actually make this deal. But you gotta like what's going on, and man, this is something that for Atlanta Falcons team that has always been questioned on the defensive side of the ball. You just gotta like what the Atlanta Falcons have did in the last 24 hours, right? I mean, bringing in Justin Simmons, taking away from the Aints. I'm gonna keep saying that because he only visited 2 teams, the New Orleans Aints and the Atlanta Falcons, and we got him, right? So that tells you a lot about what free agents see, not only in this team, the bringing in a guy like Raheem Morris to be our head coach, who everybody raves about throughout the league, bringing in a guy like Kirk Cousins, who, believe it or not, a lot of players respect the way he play ball. And from what we've seen this offseason so far from Kirk Cousins, I don't see any reason why not to respect. I mean, he's a true professional. The way they talk about his details, attention to details, his accuracy, what we've seen so far, in the 2 practices I went to, what we hear back from the reporters out there is that he's always dialed in. You already heard from what Drake London had to say about, he just is a whole different vibe. And that's what's going on, right? When we talked about this team to start off season, and when they're bringing in Kirk Cousins, looking at all these playmakers, right? We all can feel this vibe. And it starts with the head coach, of course, because he's bringing that infectious energy. But being able to add a Judon and a Simmons is just next level, man. And now where the offense, we thought the offense going to have to, took the load for this this entire team, because the defense was going to have some deficiencies. We got the defense catching up, and guess what? We're going to get into that today. And what do I mean about the defense catching up? So, how does this really affect the defense? So, put it in perspective, you have Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata, 2 excellent defensive tackles up front. Both guys are able to rush the passer from an interior side, interior level of the ball, right? You have Matthew Judon coming in now, guy who has had the 7 most sacks in the last 7 seasons, coming into the league. Second in pressures only to Nick Bosa in the last 2 seasons. So Matthew Judon coming in, this guy is going to get after the quarterback. Simple as that. What we've seen from Army Educating this offseason, they want to see him get more playing time. He has, but the last couple of practices, he's been, actually flashing a lot more. I guess he's getting the opportunity to be that 3rd down designated pass rusher, and we're starting to see that from him, right? But that inside pressure from Grady, from David Onyemata, the abilities of what our inside linebackers can do, from Caden Ellis to Troy Anderson to Nate Landman, right? All those guys, right? Now you got AJ Terrell, and then you pair those two safeties up in the back. I think now you can actually cover up if there are any deficiencies at all. But honestly, from what I've been seeing from that second cornerback spot, they have been playing, holding their own as well. You got guys like Clark Phillips, Mike Hughes, what Kevin King been able to do, Antonio Hamilton Senior, and Anthony Johnson. All those guys been playing really, really good as well. So, adding that to the secondary, bringing that effect in, this allows Jimmy Lake himself to call different decent defenses now, because when you have two ball hawks like a Jesse Bates and a Justin Simmons back there, it allows him to call more exotic blitzes, because now you can cover up things, right? Because you got two guys back there. AJ Terrell is starting to come in his own. We're starting to see him make plays every day in practice. They need to go ahead and get that deal done, especially, last year he had dinner with Jesse Bates and he signed, right? He had dinner with Justin Simmons. He signed. I think they need to go ahead and give AJ Terrell his extension, man, because obviously, he wants to be here. He's a solid NFL cornerback in this league, top 10 in my estimation, and you know he know how to close the deal when they get players to come to this team. So you gotta like that. Brian says Simmons and Bates is going to make Pitts and London better playmaker, especially at practice. That's 100%. Oh man, this about to be really, really good. This about to be really, really good, right? Iron sharpen iron. We always talk about the old cliches and things like that, but in reality, that's what you want. You want the best on the best, but you know, it's. I can't wait to see it. I know you guys can't wait to see it. I just can't wait to see it. But the flexibility that Raheem Morris and Jimmy Lake was going to be able to do in the defensive backfield, I know Richard Grant may be feeling some type of way, but let's be honest, right? He was not getting the job done. That's why it was a competition back there in the first place between him and DeMarco Hellams. And you know, if you have an opportunity to go get a four-time Pro Bowler, you're going to do that. Now we know that the Atlanta Falcons restructured Chris Lindstrom on contract today to clear up about $12.5 million, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not correct on that, forgive me, because I don't have the numbers right in front of me. But it's somewhere near that, and able to give Justin Simmons this contract that they needed, right? We talked about that. Now, go back to the beginning of the offseason, and we was wondering why, the Atlanta Falcons hadn't restructured any deals, any things like that, because they're just waiting for this kind of opportunity to come around, and be able to get something done. And, all the things that we say about Terry Fontenot, not being able to close the deals on trying to get pass rushers and things like that, we know he missed out on Montez Sweat. We know he missed out on Danielle Hunter. I know he was not able to get back into the first round, this April, to try to get one of those young pass rushers either. But to be able to do what he just did and last 24 hours, giving up a third round pick and bringing in Justin Simmons, for $8 million, and Matthew Judon is just simply awesome. And if you think about it from a perspective where you're looking at this Atlanta Falcon defense and you're like, where do you see some holes? Where do you see some holes for this defense? It seems like he just covered those holes up by these last two moves he made. I mean, bringing in two four-time Pro Bowlers, and it's not just guys, that journeyman guys just out there that you bringing in that you hope can make some productions and help this team out. No, these guys have proven themselves in the league to be elite at some of the things they do. Both of these guys. So bringing both of these guys in should automatically, make this defense completely better. I mean, having Matthew Judon, on the line is going to make Grady Jarrett and David Amiyata job easier. Having Justin Simmons with Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell in the back will make that defensive front job easier. So those two moves are just solid moves, guys. I mean, it's no other way around it. And looking at this defense now, when we looked at the Atlanta Falcons, you think about it, everybody want to point to the offense, right? Top 5 offensive line, 3 top 10 draft picks, on the team from a skill position. Then you got Tyler Algier, you got Kirk Cousins, right? 13-time All-Pro, right? I mean, not 13-time All-Pro, but been in the league 13 years, who's played, at some All-Pro football. So, everybody was thinking about this offense, and they was actually putting the Atlanta Falcons as the favorites to win this division, and the 6th, power ranked team, in the conference. Right now, when you look at this team, you can't just talk about what you see on the offensive side of the ball. You have to look at the defensive side of the ball, because now when teams start to plan for the Atlanta Falcons, they got to look at not just Jesse Bates and Grady Jarrett and AJ Terrell, like we're going to stop those guys. Now they got to look at least 4 or 5 guys on this defense, right? And you don't want to take away from the what the other guys bring to the table, because guys like Caden Ellis, he had an outstanding year last year. Nate Lammy had an outstanding year last year, right? D. Alford playing that corner, that nickel corner position, really doing some good things. So you just gotta like what you're seeing from what the Atlanta Falcons have done this off season. Let's get to some of these more comments. Wallace said, "What's good, Rakunda? They freed up almost 9 million on Lindstrom restructure. So 9 million. Thanks for that." Terry Fontenot's, yeah, man, he rolling now. He's rolling now. What if we get Witherspoon at cornerback too? Akilo Witherspoon. It's funny you mention him, because Raheem Morris mentioned him today, and he said that he was their best corner on the Rams last year, and he's still out there. So it's funny you mentioned that. And when he mentioned it today in his press conference, I was like, isn't he still out there? I wonder, what's up with that, because if he was the best corner, for the Rams last year, understands the system already. Why not bring him in? That's a great point. That's a great point. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not upset about our second cornerback position right now, because those guys been playing lights out, and it's so deep that you kind of feel comfortable with about 4 or 5 guys playing that position, especially with what the addition they made today with Justin Simmons, because now if they play that zone like we want them to play, I think they're going to play a little bit more zone this year. Both of those safety back there, ball hawking, that's going to help the cornerbacks, because they know they got help on the top. So, those guys just need to play their positions, come downhill and make plays. No get yards at the catch. You know what I'm saying? We don't want none of that stuff. So we want no yak yards, nothing like that. Put those guys in there, play your position, because now you got that over the top coverage. Being able to bring either one of those guys, JC Bates or Justin Simmons, down in the box to help make plays, from that standpoint as well, is just going to be outstanding. So I really like what this does for our defense. And now, if anybody want to say there's some holes, you still say maybe we need another pass rusher, but but now we could do it by committee on the other side, because Matthew Judon ain't gonna do his, but when you got the being able to just find another guy, if Armor Ebiketie can do what he did last year and get 6 sacks, that would be outstanding, right? So I mean, just look at it from that standpoint now. If Armor Ebiketie can do what he did last year. Then you got Matthew Judon to do what he was on pace to do last year. Remember, he only played 4 games last year because of torn pec. And in those 4 games he played, he had 4 sacks. So, I mean, he was on the trajectory to have another, outstanding year getting after the quarterback before he went down with his pec. So, hopefully he can just keep that up. And if he do his thing, Armor Katie can just, do what he did last year or, improve by 2, and then freeing up Grady Jarrett and David Mayata from the inside, where those guys create enormous pressure, in the middle. It's going to be awesome. So we got Terry Fontenot said the draft and free agency make the better team. Yep. He killing it, man. I mean, from a GM standpoint, and his bread and butter is pro scouting. We know this. That's what he did all those years when he was in New Orleans. And it started to reflect a whole lot more on this team because his free agent signings it's really been a lot of hits, man. It really has. I mean, to the David Mayata, to the Jesse Bates, to the Kate Nellis, right? To the Cordell Pattersons. He just been knocking it out the box from a free agent signing standpoint, right? What a guy like Darnell Mooney, what I'm saying, Charlie Warner, want to see what those guys be able to bring to the table. Ray McLeod, right? We saw today that we just got Jakeem Grant, and he's put on the IR list, so he still can't stay healthy. So I think from a wide receiver position, we're gonna have to maybe depend on Casey Washington. We heard from Josh Ali today. See if he can, try to make a comeback or something like that. He mentioned in the preseason game, I didn't even realize it. He had a penalty and they took him out, right? So you can't blow your opportunities when you're out on the field. That was huge for him. We don't need to stretch cornerbacks now. We have our players. We already ready. Yes, I agree with you 100%. We don't. I like our cornerbacks now. They deep, man. We good. EQ says, "Hello, Falcon fan. It's a great day. It really is. EQ, you 100% right. It is a great day. 100%. We have a great / rookie mix now. 100%, man. You gotta love it. Man, this team is vibing right now. This team is vibing. 100%. This team is vibing, man. All right. The last thing, guys, I really wanted to touch on today, and it is how does the Falcons stack up in the NFC? So let's think about who's in the NFC right now. We got, of course, we have the San Francisco 49ers, team that was in the Super Bowl last year. They didn't do anything to hurt, their stock there. They was able to pretty much bring back all their players. They still, in the quandary right now with Brandon Ayuk, but he was at practice yesterday and saying like they might be able to, get that resolved and he stays with the team. We'll just have to see how that pans out. But, they did bring in Ricky Pro. Was his name Ricky Pro? The kid from Florida. They brought him in to be a replacement for Brandon Ayuk. But that defense is still solid. Christian McCaffrey's still there. Brock Purdy seems like he has figured out, being a quarterback for this team. So I still think they need to figure out the deal with Trent Williams as well. But 49ers, I would, since they've been there, done it rightfully so, I would still say yes. They are, probably still the top of the the crop in the NFC. Right? You go to the Detroit Lions. Maybe, saying they was really, really good last year. Let's see, can they, replicate that? I didn't think we was that far from the Detroit Lions, last year. They just had a way better quarterback than us. But so it's gonna be interesting to see how the Detroit Lions fare this year. But they was able to get to, the NFC Championship game. So you have to tip your hats off to the NFC and the way they was able to to the Detroit Lions, where they was able to do what they did. Um, then you have the um the Philadelphia Eagles, who started the season off 10-1 and then faltered towards the end. They got better this off season, right? They hoping Jalen Hurts go back to his year that he went to the Super Bowl, get back to that performance, because last year he kind of fell off a little bit. But the addition of Saquon Barkley, trying to fix back up their back end of their secondary, it's going to be huge. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Philadelphia Eagles fare this year. But on the paper, they did get better. So they have them third. Then after that, they have the Packers and the Cowboys, right? We beat the Packers last year. It was early in the season. Jordan Love maybe was just trying to get his footing. He did start to roll. I think he rolled off like 9 straight wins though after they started to play better. So the Green Bay Packers and how they demolished the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional round playoffs was something to behold too. That was the wild card, or whatever game it was, probably wild card. But so the Green Bay Packers, you have the Dallas Cowboys, and then right under them, per the rankings, they had the Atlanta Falcons. All right, with the addition of Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons, where do the Atlanta Falcons rank now? Right? I would say you can put the Atlanta Falcons either third or fourth with the additions of those two. Because with the offense, we already had that lock, right? Top 5 offensive line. It was already there, right? The question was, if we're gonna be able to stop people. That was the question, right? Were we going to be able to produce the pass rush? Are we going to be able to hold up in the secondary? On the other side of AJ Terrell. Those were the questions. I don't think nobody questioned our linebackers. Our front seven in itself was stellar. We was going to have to try to generate, pass rush somehow. Simulated pressures and things like that. But with the addition of these two guys we just added to the team today, in my opinion, yes, and it's just 2 guys, but having just those 2 guys going to cover up a lot of holes that the Atlanta Falcons might have been trying to scheme in different ways because of those 2 holes that they had. But the ability to just get 2 dogs, like Raheem Morris said, and let those guys do what they do well, right? It just gives offenses 2 more guys to have the game plan for, right? Because yes, guys like Justin Simmons, guys like a Matthew Judon, guys like a Jesse Bates, guys like a Grady can wreck games. So when offenses start the game plan, their job is not to let these guys wreck the game for you. That's their whole plan. We don't want this guy to wreck the game. But now we just added 2 more guys to the roster that has potential of doing that, right? We gotta block this guy, because we don't block this guy, he can wreck the game. Oh, but by the way, you got the other guy in the middle that if you don't get 2 guys on him, he can wreck the game. Oh, by the way, if you're not watching where that guy is in the defensive backfield, he might wreck the game. And then the other guy in the defensive backfield, Jesse Bates and Derek Carr, he might wreck the game, right? You have all those talented pieces on the chessboard now. So when offenses game plan, they're trying to game plan around those guys and make sure that those guys do not wreck the game. So with that alone, right, you look at other teams. You go to the Detroit Lions, who we just raving about, great season they had, right? Agent Hutchinson, right? who else back there that you saying that we can't let this guy wreck the game, right? They got a solid defense, but who else do they have that you don't want them to wreck the game, right? Go to the Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys. Don't let Michael Parsons wreck the game. We know that. We block Michael Parsons, we might have a chance, right? That's the way you looking at it. So where do the Atlanta Falcons stack, right? Some polls had them sixth, right? One thing about NFL power rankings from based off last year records goes out the window. It just does. I mean, I just don't see how you can look at a team from last season and think they're going to be able to replicate what they did, right? Because it's a lot goes into an NFL season, right? Of course, you have roster turnover, but health as well, right? You can have a team that just was completely healthy all season long, which is rare in NFL. You expect injury, you expect some of your players to get hurt. You hopefully they don't go down for a extended period of time, but at the same time it happens. So the power rankings is funny when you look at them because they have these teams ranked so high, but you know if one of the key players go down for one of these teams, the entire season could be completely different. I mean, just look at it this way, right? Take Kirk Cousins off this team and bring Desmond Ritter back, and how excited would you be about this team based off what you've seen last year from their Desmond Ritter? I mean, that's basically what I'm saying. So, and I know and I think if Desmond Ritter here, we might wouldn't even have a Matthew Judon. I don't think we'll have a Justin Simmons. I don't think Darnell Mooney would want to sign here. Maybe not even a Ray McLeod. So, I mean, let's be realistic about it. Having that quarterback, because when the team has a quarterback, they feel they have opportunity to win, and that's where we're at today. And you're going to have to tip your hat off to the front office, to the coaching staff for making all this happen. But I'm going to put the Atlanta Falcons the fourth best team in NFC right now, and I'll put them behind the San Francisco 49ers, the Detroit Lions, and the Philadelphia Eagles. That's where I got them ranked. Let's see what we got. It says player like Coach Raheem Morris. They want to play for a real leader. Yes, I agree with you on that. He just he's authentic, man. He's himself. And players like that crap. And he don't sugarcoat shit. And he does it in a way that doesn't piss players off either. Because sometimes you could don't sugarcoat and just be an asshole about it. But he does it in a way to you gotta get better at this. But I still love you, man. The Falcons running away from NFC. Cowboys can't even sign people. And the 49ers got wide receiver issues. Said the Lions are a good story. They are, man. They really are. We said the Eagles always fold at the end. We're going to see how good the Eagles are on week 2 when we go up there Monday Night Football. What rank do you give the offense and the defense now? The offense is in NFC. I think we got a top 5 offense. I like this San Francisco 49ers offense. You gotta like the Philadelphia Eagles offense. The Green Bay Packers offense. The Atlanta Falcons offense. And I guess you could say I'm gonna go with the 5th team. I'm gonna go with Cowboys, I guess. If they able to get CeeDee Lamb back, but they don't have a running back, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't have a running back. So it's hard to say, because I think what makes teams really good on offense if you got a good running game to go along with your passing game. And I think those 4 teams I called out, they all do. I mean, the 49ers, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles, of course, the Detroit Lions, great run team last year. Atlanta Falcons, we already know is a great run team. But if you don't have a good running game to go with your passing game, it's hard. So you have to factor in that from a defensive standpoint. I definitely think we can be a top 15 defense, and I'm maybe shortchanging us a little bit now. If we had one more dominant pass rusher, I put us definitely in the top 10. But the jury's still out on how good Ebiketie can flash. We just have to see about him. But definitely top 15 defense. The first 4 games will tell it all. Yes, it will. 100%. I'll agree with you with that. First 4 games. And now, because remember, guys, I haven't did my roster, my predictions yet for the season. I haven't done them yet. And now I'm definitely looking at some of those first 4 games and be like, man, we might can get that. We might can get that one. So, we're definitely gonna have to go take another look at this schedule. I'm glad I haven't put it out yet, because now I'm gonna take a real deep look at it and see where we might be able to. I'm gonna tell you, I can say it right now. Atlanta Falcons, the way this roster is constructed, we can play with any team in the NFL. It's just that simple. If all our guys are there in tow and healthy, the Atlanta Falcons play with any team in the NFL, and I do believe that. I do believe. Simmons or Bates in the box for blitzing, yes, 100%, man. And both of those guys are great blitzer too. Air rotation could stop this season. Yes, yes. Simmons and Bates switching sides is crazy. I know, man. I mean, think about it. Going from strong to free, back and forth, man. There's no weak link there. I mean, both of these guys can do both jobs. Man, you gotta love it, man. I love it. I can't believe it. I can't believe they was able to get it done, man. It's amazing. If we can't stop KC, we got a defense. Yeah, if we can stop, you're right. If we can stop KC, right. But we know what they're gonna do. We got to be able to stop just Travis Kelce, man. He's the key on he's the key. They went and got the quick burner out there. The kid's gonna, try to take the top off. That opens up the underneath for guys like Travis Kelce. But if we can stop Travis Kelce for KC, we can beat Kansas City, because I think we can score with those guys. So we got to be able to stop them. And they got a pretty good defense too. We know they got that monster in the middle of the field. So Chris Dahlman, Chris Lindstrom, and Matthew Bergeron are gonna have a hard time that game dealing with Chris Jones. We have a top 10 offense, top 10 defense. We have more than a chance. Oh, 100%. But I think we got a top 10 offense, maybe top 5. You're right, because I don't have any kind of depth. Yeah, man, this is crazy. This is. I mean, even having Richard Grant, there, it's still. I mean, because he does do some things well, so it's not like he's a straight up scrub. You know what I'm saying? He's just not better than this. So I think he's still gonna have a role in this defense. But these 2 guys on the field, man, it's just lights out. It's just that simple. Simple as that. And yeah, we're gonna find out how he can take those hits. But see, that's why you can put your deep safety back there, and he won't be able to take the top off. That's what you do with a guy like that. Don't let him take the top because Patrick Mahomes probably want to do that, want to go deep like that. But what do you think Pittsburgh is going to be? It's interesting. It's really interesting. Um, because I don't know how much Russell Wilson has in his tank. I don't know how much left Russell Wilson has, and the way Arthur Smith called games, I don't know if it fits what Russell Wilson does. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to see. We know they're going to run the ball. We know that's Arthur Smith bread and butter. He's one that runs the ball. They got Najee Harris, so he's going to want to do that. They want to feature George Pickens. Um, he's going to do 12 personnel. That's why he went and brought in other tight ends. So we expect them to be physical in the run game, right? The question is, if they're going to be able to be explosive in the pass game. And we know from experience, from the last 3 seasons with Atlanta, they was never able to do that. Now, it was definitely, which our quarterbacks who we had on the roster, but and I think what Russell Wilson does well is the deep ball. But I don't know if that's what Arthur Smith likes to call. I think he likes to be methodical, run the ball, play action pass, and things like that. So it is going to be really interesting to see. I'm not 100% sure about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know the defense is going to be good. I mean, just simply that you got to stop J.J. Watt. Remember I talked about that guy can rate the game. Well, he's one of those guys who can rate the game. Minka Fitzpatrick back there is a great safety in his own right. So we gonna have some issues on defense, but I think we got more than enough playmakers to be able to. And I don't care who's back there. I still think Kyle Pitts is a mismatch for pretty much anybody. So we're definitely going to be able to see what Pittsburgh going to be all about that first game of the season. And I know it's early, but fans telling you guys right now, Pittsburgh coming in full effect. First game of the season, Terrell Towers is going to be out, so we got to come and represent for our home team in our stadium. Pittsburgh just got Pickens unless they start Fields. They're not. Fields not starting. I can tell you that right now. It's going to be Russell Wilson. And the saddest part about it is Arthur Smith don't know how to groom young quarterbacks. So I don't know if Fields ever going to figure it out. I mean, I know you can't really blame the botch snaps he had in the first preseason game, but he definitely didn't look that good. That's not what you want to see, right? I mean, compare what Fields looked like to what Michael Penix Jr. looked like, and you're like, wow. I mean, the guy is going into his fourth season, right? And the guy who's going to his first season. Well, Penix might be older than Fields. That's but that doesn't matter. He's a rookie coming in, so I know you guys get my point. But guys coming in the fourth season, guys coming first season, and Justin Fields couldn't even get the snap. Not all his fault, but that's a fact. He could not get the snap. So that's what we're looking at. So, but guys, this is going to be an exciting season, and I'm going to say this now. And I know everybody wanted to see the preseason, whatever. Raheem Morris, don't play none of your guys in the preseason. We don't want no more injuries, man. We want all these guys to make it a game win. I know you want to get some reps and things like that. And I know how some people feel like, we got to get reps, man. I'm too nervous. I'm too scared because I don't want nobody to get hurt. I just, man, let's just get to this regular season because you get hurt during preseason, it's a waste. I know you got to get in football shape and things like that. You got to play, and I understand. But I mean, when it's 17 game season, and you don't want to come out the box, come out the box slow, right? You don't want to do that. But if you have to come out the block slow, you can, because 17 games. So, you know, we're gonna take these first 3 or 4 games to get in rhythm, but we have to. And I think this team is talented enough to still pull these wins off, even coming out slow. So, I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. But I want us to get to the regular season healthy, man. We cannot afford any more injuries. It's just that simple. You said yes, Junior look much better. Yeah, he looked way much better than this, and that's my point. I'm like, you got a guy that's coming out his first game ever in NFL, and he looked better than Justin Fields. I mean, he looked way better than Taylor Heineke. Let's not forget that either. Taylor Heineke looked like hot garbage. Um, I'm not playing starter doing preseason. Yeah, man. Michael, me neither, man. Forget it. Not playing none of. Nope. Let it be. Junior pulls the trigger on the right time and made all good every time. Right, he had a couple off throws, but you could tell he the understanding of the offense, going through his progressions. I liked everything I seen out of Michael Penix Jr. It wasn't perfect. That's why he only got a B from me grade, but B is good for a first time ever going out there, learning a new offense. And kudos to, like I said, once again, to that Second Street offensive line, because they gave him a good pocket to throw the ball in as well. So, guys, I kind of like these impromptu videos. I really do, because for one reason, that means the Falcons is busy, right? They're doing something. They're making this team better. Which, if you're a Falcon fan, you probably like feel like you in a twilight zone or something like that. Cause you like, what is happening? We have not seen, the Atlanta Falcons be this aggressive like this to try to build around a team. I mean, you have to go back a long time to say how good this defense got potential to be. And Matt Ryan's played 14 seasons, and I don't know if Matt Ryan ever had a defense this good in potential. We haven't seen a defense yet. Now, this is all hypothetical, guys, because you got to see them play, right? You just talking what's on paper, right? But if Matt Ryan ever had a defense this good, I'm just being honest with you, right? And that's just a fact. I'm not 100% sure, if so. I mean, this, you got to tip your head off. I mean, with the players that was already on the team, some of the guys that you expect to take big jumps this year as well. Guys like Zach Harrison, right? You expect him to take a jump from year 1 to year 2, right? He bucked up about 25 pounds. They got him playing inside. You expect Grady to be Grady. You expect David to be David. Like I said, Caden Ellis, man, he's I think was an outstanding free agent signing last year. He lived up to the hype, and they're going to use him in a different way this year. Do some of the things he did when he was with the Aints. He had 7 sacks with New Orleans Aints in his last year. So, being able to do that more, to create pressures that way. All right, we want to see Troy Anderson take the next step. He was going in that direction before he tore his pec last year, and we're going to see if he can be able to do it. Nate Landman was like a pleasant surprise. Guy had 111 tackles last year, right? Jesse Bates had his best year of his career. AJ Terrell is just solid doing the things he do. So you like, and then you have to like the other pieces that we brought in. Under the radar signing James Smith Williams, the things he's able to do, to use a lot of him the way he utilized himself. Armor Ebiketie, this got to be the year for him, right? He has to show what he all about. He won his 3rd season, so this has to be the year for him. But so you like all the moves that they have made, and adding these 2 guys in, it's just enhancing what we already think this team could be, right? If you look at what they did last year, holding teams to under 20, 21 points a game, it's amazing, right? And then we had not one guy in double digit sacks last year, right? It was by committee. So this team has potential to be really good. And like I said, for as far as Falcon fans, moves like this, you have to be excited about, because usually this is we haven't been in this kind of place where we see Pro Bowlers and things want to come play with the Atlanta Falcons. Let's just be honest about it. Kevin said, if they're a good pass rush from the D line, it's a lot of hard. Yes, we get good pass rush, man, but we can get good coverage, and that helps the pass rush too. Remember that good coverage helps the pass rush. And if just them holding the ball just a little bit longer because you got two ball hogs back there, you might be like, wait, wait a minute. Thanks for everything you do. Keep informed. As a truck driver from Atlanta, very excited for the start. You're welcome, man. Appreciate you. Be safe out there on the roads too, bro. Right, Ricono, this is an exciting time. I hope to translate to a dream season. Great show. See you all next time. I agree, man. This is like special. Well, like I said, this is on paper. We got to see let's be honest. This is the first year in this offense for Kirk Cousins. Zach Robinson, Jimmy Lake, first time calling defense. This got to come together quick. It does, but from what we've been seeing, guys, it brings a whole lot of positive vibes around it because of what we've been hearing. The two times I watched practice, I was impressed. I really were. But from what we've seen, the highlights, right? We just the deep passes we saw yesterday. I don't know if we've seen those deep passes like that since Matt Ryan left, man. And he was on target, man. Drake London looked like a man child yesterday. Kyle Pitts looked like he's back to his rookie season, and then you add all the other pieces in, and we keep forgetting about Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson, which is insane because both of those guys are electric with the ball in their hands. So, I mean, the offense should be good. There's no other way around it, man. But is it defense can represent like what it shows on paper, man? That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. No push or pass rush is why we got lit up through the last few years. Exactly. None whatsoever, man. None whatsoever. And then, I mean, the fact that you can block Grady with 2 or 3 people, was asinine, right? You can't do that. Now, unless you can do it where you got David Amiata right beside him, right? But now you put a Matthew Judon out there, it's going to make it even worse. So, and believe it or not, having Matthew Judon on one side going to help the other guy on the other side be better as well, because guess what? They're going to try to make sure they try to stop Matthew Judon, which is going to probably free space for a lot of other guys. That's how in it, football works, man. Because you got to do pass rush as a unit in the first place. But if they're keying on trying to stop a guy because they can't block him one-on-one, right? It frees up other guys to do have one-on-one. So that's what you gotta love about it. Ikri said, man, I'm out of the loop, bro. No satellite or cable. Yeah, I got you, man. I'm keeping it. I'm trying to keep everybody loop. Be honest with you, I haven't put as many videos as I put out in probably the last couple years because the Falcons wasn't doing a whole lot, right? But no time like now to start doing the thing right before the season start, and you don't want to say, the injuries kind of force this, because we don't know what kind of moves they was trying to make behind the scenes. But I mean, think about if we had a Brandon Trice still, That would be awesome. That would be really good if we still had a Braden Trice. We still had a Rondale Moore, um, you know, and believe it or not, the Falcons still can make moves. Believe it or not, because if they need to create more cap space, they could. Like I said, they haven't extended AJ Terrell yet. They definitely had an opportunity to restructure Jesse Bates' contract. So they wanted to create more cap space, they could. At this point, I really don't see, a reason for them to do that. But if they feel that they had to, I think they could. So, but at this point, I don't think they need to do that. I think we're good at this point. I really do. I like this team. I like it a lot. Um, it's no more questions for me. The only questions I have now, what is it going to look like from an offense and defense standpoint? That's the only question I have. What will this look like? And I'm excited to see. And I know all you guys are excited to see as well. So, guys, that's all I have today. I mean, once again, just to recap, the Atlanta Falcons have signed Justin Simmons to a 1-year deal, $7.5 million, 8 million, 7.5 million guaranteed, 8 million with incentives, right? A guy who had 53 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions last year, 30 interceptions over his 8-year career. So we know we're getting a ball hawk. To compare him with another guy who's had 20 interceptions over his 6-year career. So dynamic duo in the backfield for our Atlanta Falcons. Guess what? On offense and on defense, diamond duos, right? So gotta love it. Got a great signal caller that's going to be giving the rock to our playmakers. Um, 2 great captains, right up the middle of this defense. Grady, Jesse, and then you like I said, what Caden was being able to do. So this is awesome. So guys, that's all I have today. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show. We're gonna have to talk again, before the season start. Be on the lookout now for my predictions for the season, win-loss record, and the 53-man roster projection, because it's really starting to get really good here. And also I gotta talk about some of the roster news again, because like I said, they put Jakeem Grant on the IR. So expect more moves. They brought in another linebacker today in Story, from the UFL. So they're still making moves on the back end of the rosters, not just bringing in all pros as well. You still got to do great things on the back end of the roster. So that's what it's all about. So, guys, thank you for tuning in today. Another impromptu live show, because the Atlanta Falcons have brought in 2 dogs, Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.